Hey guys, today I'm going to do a video on what I do before I fish a body of water. And normally this is saying that I've never fished the lake before, and I want to get a good idea of what this lake looks like and where are some areas that I can focus and spend the majority of my time on that body of water. And so I'm going to use the internet to do this, do some research, but these are some of the things that I like to look for is, number one, what type of lake it is. Is it a river system? Do they generate power? Is there current? Things like that. Number two is, feeder creeks. What are some of the creeks that feed the lake? And, that kind of gives me some ideas depending on the year or depending on the time of year that I'm going to be fishing it. And, beyond that, I like to look for ramps. Sometimes that could be a tedious process, is finding ramps to put in at. This is saying that you don't have a predetermined spot that you have to launch out of, so more recreational purposes. And so once I find a spot on the lake that I want to focus the majority of my time, after that I go and find ramps pretty close in that vicinity where I don't have to run all over the lake to get to it. I can kind of focus my time specifically and get there pretty fast. And so, theoretically, this is it should take some of the guesswork out. You're doing your homework, you're finding areas to focus on, and then once you get to the lake, you don't have to do a lot of this when you're on the water. You kind of already have this in your thought process before getting there. And so it gives you an idea. You kind of got a little bit more confidence in going to that body of water. And now the lake that I'm going to do today is Tuscaloosa Lake. I had a gentleman ask me on one of the comments, he was kind of jokingly asking me, I wish you could fish this lake. Give me some ideas, where to catch fish, things like that. And so this is for him. This is the gentleman's name or handle on YouTube is Bama GTR dude. So this is for you. And this is, if anyone has a request like that, just leave them in the comments below this video. And I'd be more than happy to break a lake down and kind of show you areas that I would like to fish before getting there. But let's hop on the computer. Let me show you some things I like to look for, and hopefully we can all learn something. Alright guys, so I've got the computer pulled up, and I use a couple different sites to really kind of pick apart a lake. The first site I use is Navionics web app, and basically this is just getting into their portal. You can look at lakes across the country, and it'll show you kind of the detailed, intricate parts of a lake, contour lines, main creek channels, stuff like that flowing through it. So, there's Tuscaloosa Lake, and, there's the main creek channel. Now, the second thing I like to use is Google Maps. I normally use Google Earth, but for some reason it's not working on my computer. So, Google Maps will have to work for the video. And basically, I'm just wanting to look at kind of the landscape on what it looks like. If I can see, any kind of timber or vegetation. Unfortunately, this image I have is taken in the winter, so I can't really see any type of grass or anything like that. If there's pads or what it may be. Now, another thing I like to look at is I go to Wikipedia just to see a little bit of information about the lake. When it was created. This lake was created in 1970, and looks like it's the North River that's dammed up. Tuscaloosa, city of Tuscaloosa uses it for drinking water, so it's just a basic little lake, and looks like they don't generate power on it or anything. But going back over to Navionics web app, and this is where most of the research is going to happen and take place, is on Navionics web app. Occasionally I jump over to Google Maps just to see what it looks like, what I'm looking at on here. There's a lot of things that kind of jump out at me. Number one, this creek channel runs, it has quite a few bends, and quite a few bends that butts up against points, and nice channel swings. And so there's a lot of features to this lake. And beyond that, another thing that really jumps out at me is this section, I guess from right here to here. This part really jumps out at me. It looks really really nice, a lot of things to work with. Kind of starting in this area, this is a large flat, So this is going to be a nice spawning flat. I would like to run, zigzag patterns up and through here to see if I can find brush and, mark them to come back to fish. Especially in the springtime. This would be really good, for springtime, this flat right here. Now in summer and winter, this creek channel comes right up against the shoreline here. Now this island in particular, it comes right up against this island, and so you've got a steep ledge. You can see how close those contour lines are. So it goes from shallow, and it dumps out into the creek channel pretty fast. And so the summer and winter, this is going to be pretty good because it allows the fish to access deep water fairly quickly. And so I would like to run up against it to check, see if there's anything, any type of, because this is your structure, and I would look for cover. If there's any cover that's going to hold fish, specifically to that piece of cover. Now in the summertime, it says there's vegetation right here, and I can't, unfortunately, I cannot see it because this is, again, a wintertime shot. So looks like there may be some type of grass. I can't really tell. I would love to have, pads or something like that. But in the summertime, this is something you'd want to work, with a frog, your top water stuff. And then as the day progresses, it heats up, you can start backing back out to the main lake, to the main channel. Another thing that really jumped out at me is this point right here. This channel has a nice channel swing right here at this point. And so, this is going to hold fish. This is going to be an ideal spot to hold fish year-round because this channel's coming up to it. This is their highway. This is what they use to, for spawning and getting back. And, this is just the main central highway for fish. And so, and it butts right up to this piece of structure, this point. So I would like to run my boat over it and see if I could find any type of cover, brush piles, rock piles, anything on this that's really going to hold fish to it. But I would suspect this is going to hold fish year-round. Now, as I work my way down the lake, this is all just, look at this, just another big flat. So this is a nice spawning flat. So the springtime, you'd want to focus on this. Kind of working on, this is a great place, if there is vegetation, pads or anything, you could work that with your top waters. This point looks amazing. This thing just, you've got the channel coming right up next to it. You've got your point with a hump on it. So you've got your point that comes out to 21 foot of water, comes up shallow, up to 6 feet of water. Then it gets a little bit deeper again as it gets to the shoreline. So this is, I guarantee you this is going to hold fish year-round because you've got a lot of pieces of structure there. You've got your creek channel, you've got your point, you've got hump, and especially if you can find any cover. If you cruise over it and you see any kind of brush or anything on it, that's going to be a good spot to stop and check. Again, here's another big flat you could work in the springtime, especially, spawning and scenarios like that. Now, kind of going beyond that, let's look for a feeder creek because, in the fall, we know the shad like to migrate up them feeder creeks and get back up in there. So this is a really nice arm on this feeder creek, and it goes way back up in there. So let's look at it on Google Maps and see what it looks like. I believe, let me find it here. Yep, this is it right here. So there's the island. I think that's the island. Make sure. Yep, so it has an, didn't mean to do that. Alright, so there's the island. And here it is. So let's zoom up to it. So this arm goes pretty far back in here. And it says it's Hammer Creek. And so this would be a good spot to work because at least starting in the fall to start to kind of start cruising back up in here. Now if I started venturing back up here and I got I guess about right here or so, and I wasn't seeing any shad balls or any activity, I'd probably just turn around and come back out and start working main lake again. But that arm has a lot to work with, and it is a feeder creek, and so I would suspect that would be pretty, a pretty good scenario in the fall. I tell you what, this lake has a lot of features. This lake has a lot of things going for it. Here's another situation where the channel comes up to a point. It's not that great of a point. It's not really a pronounced point, but it's still a point nonetheless. Here's another nice little ledge that you could work in the summer and winter months, kind of rotating all the way back up in here. This has a nice ledge that you can work with. This creek channel comes up through it. I saw a point a second ago that looked really good too. This may be it. No, let's see. Let's see if I can find it again. Oh, that's the dam. Let's see. But yeah, this lake has a lot to work with. A lot of good features with it. But I would probably spend majority of my time mid lake to north, and so I'm probably from here to about right here. You got the feeder creek, so I would spend the most of my time in this area, and really I would really concentrate a lot of my time in this section right here, because number one, this gives me a lot to work with, because I've got enough swings, I've got enough points, a lot of flats that I could work with. I mean, there's a lot there that you could really pick apart. And, that's going to take up a better part of the day, just cruising over that. Because the very first day, I'd want to at least give it a good amount of time cruising over it with the boat and looking at, if I could find any brush piles or any type of cover, relating to these points, or relating to these steep ledges and things like that. And so, but this is pretty much what I do when I go to break down a lake. I use these, Google Maps, Navionics web app, and that allows me to kind of pick apart a lake, because, this is going to give you a little bit of, tools for success. So when you get to the lake, number one, you're going to have a thought process that you're going to go through. You've already picked out some key areas to focus on, so you're going to be able to go straight to those and start working right away. Now, I kind of talked about boat ramps. So let's, if I was working the north end of the lake, this looks like it shows you on Navionics web app where boat ramps are. So there's a boat ramp. So I'm going to go over to Google Maps here, and I'm going to see what that looks like, what that ramp looks like. So here we are. This is the north end of the lake. Let's zoom in on it. This is, what is this? What road is this? Highway 43. So there's a nice looking ramp there at the north end of the lake. It shows that there's some other ramps, but that one looks fine. You could use that. There's a ramp down here, but I couldn't find it. It looked like it was more so kind of a marina type. I think it was right here. Yeah, so it looks more like a marina. I don't know. I mean, you probably could launch out of it. I mean, they're probably going to charge you a fee. But I would probably, if I'm focusing on this area, I would launch out of here off of that Highway 43. And that, it might be a little bit of a boat ride down to, like if you wanted to fish that feeder creek right here. But still, nonetheless, it's close enough where you can focus on quite a few things. But guys, if you have a lake that you want me to kind of break down and kind of give you ideas that what I like to look for, just leave them in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to do that for you. But if you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this, and, like I say, if you have any questions on it, let me know. But till next time, we'll see you guys.